everyone. It's the Sith Justice Warriors coming back after a 1 week hiatus. So with me today is Lumpia. Hey, Lumpia.
Hey guys, hope you guys are enjoying the summer.
Yes, it's rather hot where we're at, but I'm sure that everyone's hoping to get out there and enjoy sun. Hopefully you can. If not, stay safe.
Being socially distant and responsible, but enjoying the sun nonetheless.
Yes, exactly. So I figured the Hollywood news has been rather boring again, so we're going to go with the games. And I think for me personally, I'm excited about this week with the Xbox Game Showcase on the 23rd. So 9 a.m. Pacific, that would be about 12 p.m. Eastern, or do the math to get your correct time zone for those not in Eastern or Pacific time. Um, Hopefully, we're going to get an hour of games from the 13 Xbox studios that they've recently acquired. We know Halo's going to be there, and that's pretty much it. That's all we know is that Halo's new game, Halo Infinite, which I'm personally excited about, is going to be showcased, and then you've got a whole hour of goodness that we're hoping for is good. Um, there's been a lot of folks that have been hyped. It's going to be on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter. Unfortunately, Mixer, they've canceled Mixer. They shut down Mixer, so you can only pretty much watch it there if unless you liked Mixer. But Mixer was kind of cool because the prior years they gave you free stuff with it, but now Mixer's done. It's done.
I know I miss that stuff. You would if you were watching, they would send you freebies. It just
Yeah,
gave you some incentives.
I know. And it's kind of sucks, but what can you do? So that's pretty much all we know. We only know Halo. We always hear about Fable. We hear about Perfect Dark, but nothing's final until it's finally official. So, Lumpia, let me toss it over to you. What do you think's going to be there? What do you think you want to see to make this show worthwhile?
I agree with you. I think Halo is what we need to see. I think we need to see things that are the foundational games of Xbox. I think we need to see more about launch titles, and we need to see more of the in-game content. I think that's where PlayStation kind of missed the boat because a lot of the content they showed in the initial stages was not true gameplay, so to speak. What I do want to see, of course, I have to put the shameless plug, is some more Cyberpunk. But I think that they did such a great job of diving into the Cyberpunk world that I think they did a really excellent job in it. That I don't have any more questions. It's more I just want to see more. I also want to see more. You mentioned Fable, you mentioned Halo. It's just the core Xbox games that when you bought an Xbox back in the day, these were the reasons for it. So I'd like to see more about that. I'm excited about Halo. I can't say that I played the last versions of Halo, but the Halo that I did play, I really enjoyed it. And then just anything else in terms of we saw a lot about what was it? Was it the Vampire Masquerade one? Was that for
Oh,
PC
yeah.
and for Xbox?
It's
I feel like we're
yeah.
forgetting about it, and I was reading about it, and it's such a complex world that I'm very intrigued and interested to see more about it. That's just me. Um, there was another game that came out, or that's coming out supposedly with it. I can't remember the name of it. I have to go look it up. But like I said, I'm looking forward to the games that are going to make me want to buy an Xbox again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think for me at least, this PC stuff has been a lot. It's been a lot more interesting, more fun. Everything is being 60 frames or above, and I mean the thing about Xbox is they're putting their exclusives on PC, and I'm not gonna lie, I like it. And if they can make a profitable business doing that, by all means keep doing it. But you're right. I want to get excited, not necessarily about buying an Xbox again. I want to get excited for the brand. They have 13 studios. They bought, I think they bought like six over 12 months or so, and
Yeah.
it's I kind of want to see it just because I've been listening to a lot of the console war stuff, and it's kind of like it's not a game between two teams. If the one team was just getting beat down, you kind of want to see competition. So Sony's been doing well, but when I look at the Sony launch titles with Spider-Man Miles Morales, it felt like Spider-Man DLC. Slightly better graphics, but again, I haven't seen much of it. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, it was a good concept. My concern is that when Horizon Zero Dawn is going to PC, the first one, Horizon Forbidden West, I'm just wondering, is that going to go on PC as well? Because if I just wait, I can get it on PC to play it for 60 or 120 frames. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I want to get excited about Xbox, and I kind of want to see something not Fable, not Perfect Dark, because I want to see something creative. But we'll see. I mean, that's my fear is that you got an hour, and it's not. Maybe you get 13 Xbox exclusive studios, but I mean, some of them are some of them are kind of like not reaches, but like franchises, so to speak. So I hope I see something new, but I'll just have to be waiting. I think I will say I am very excited about this show just because it's time for them to put up or shut up. So
Exactly. Exactly. And it's the right venue, to be honest, in this virtual world. It's a perfect time to do it. Like I said, what happened with Cyberpunk, like I said, there was definitely room for opportunities, but I felt very satiated with how the Cyberpunk virtual show went because I got to learn more about the game, like the way the game played. Like, you know how you could go back into the past because you would basically everyone records everything and you could go into their memory or their data stream and like relive the moment to see if you could solve something. Like, that was cool. And you would never know that that was part of the gameplay until they explained it to you. I forget exactly what they called that, where you go into the memory of someone and like you actually look at it from different points of view.
oh yeah,
Um,
I forgot it too, but I know what you're
what the
saying
heck was it
about.
called? But that was the coolest thing because I was like, there were so many things you could do with that. And I was just thinking of the limitless capabilities of like just downloadable content. So like you could do side missions galore, solving these cases by slipping into the memory of someone's databank, so you could see what happened in the past to solve a mystery. So like I said, I want to learn more about the ins and outs, if possible, of the major titles that they've got going on for them. But like I said, the ones that I personally have interest in are like the ones that we haven't really talked about, like the Vampire Masquerade one. The only reason it came up to my mind was because an article came out because they interviewed one of the creators of it, who was really one of the game players. Like, this game has existed like since I think I want to say the 90s or 80s, and I remember these books being sold in the Borders, Barnes and Nobles, and B. Daltons of the world. And I always looked at them, but I mean, when you read into it, like they're like with this dice play and roll, it's just very complex, and you actually in sort of a way you have a clan, and each clan stands for something. And it's like, which clan do you belong to? They actually asked some of the creators of the game, and why. So like, I'm very intrigued because it's a different sort of RPG, like in that sense of like, what clan do you belong to? Like, ooh, why? Like the Nosferatu apparently are like your typical vampires, like the Nosferatu of the old movies where they hid from the sun and like they were deformed. But then there are the Ventru, there are the Bruja. Like there are just so many clans, and then each of the clans make up. Like it's just steeped in favor. Like I said, there's just a lot to digest in a lot of the games that are coming out that we're not talking about, and I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah. I think though we won't. See, we definitely won't. My prediction is we won't see anything cyberpunk, just because
Yeah.
they have their own show, which is probably the right venue for them. I don't know if we're gonna see Vampire the Masquerade. That would be interesting, but then they already showed it, so I don't know. But that's that's what we're gonna find out Thursday. Hopefully, we could either live stream reactions or we can do a video after show just to kind of go through what we liked, what we didn't like on Thursday.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah, we'll definitely try to work that out. And then before that, let me show you the nice little surprise I found out this weekend in relation to the Xbox stuff. Is that actually not only do we get an hour, we also get an hour before that, which is a pre-show. So that means, so this one is hosted by Jeff Keighley, he does the video game awards, and he normally does all like the MC stuff for that. And then he basically said that on Thursday, the hour before the Xbox showcase, they're doing a pre-show. So they're going to show probably the smaller games, and then probably talk about some of the hardware, maybe software, ecosystem related stuff. But I'm hoping like some of the smaller stuff gets put there. I'm hoping some of the stuff like updates to Sea of Thieves or Forza Horizon 4 are there, because I don't want to get inundated with, some of the smaller stuff. I want the big bangers, so to speak, for the big one. But it's kind of nice. So it's essentially a 2 hours of Xbox. So that is actually something pretty neat that Xbox figured out how to do. Cool. Lumpia, any other thoughts on this? We lost Lumpia. So we'll end it there with a quick episode. Ooh, no, she's back. We are
Lost
live.
myself.
Cool.
Can you
Lumpia,
guys hear me? Yep, I'm
Yep.
back.
I
Can you
was just
hear me?
talking about how there was a pregame show hosted by Jeff Keighley on Xbox. So basically, there's an hour before the Xbox show that actually touches on Xbox related news, whether it's smaller
No, I'm
games.
excited.
Yeah, so it's almost like 2 hours of it. So, ooh, not game
I
related.
think on another note, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Henry Cavill's building a PC, because I thought that was awesome. We were
Yeah,
watching it this week.
I wanted to do a reaction video to that, but then I'm like, I don't know what to say. I have to say the faces he made on that video were kind of like mine when I was trying to build mine, trying to like make sure I connected things right. I didn't have a fancy cooler like his that had cool numbers with the temperatures and all that, but I'm not as rich as Henry Cavill though. So
I like that it wasn't perfect, and I like that it took him a whole day, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch.
yeah. Hey, not gaming related. We have some late breaking news.
Oh,
Ethan has gone to war with Dynamite Comics.
why?
I'm gonna hijack this. So basically, he just had a live stream. For those who do not know, Ethan Van Sciver does. He's a comic book creator of the successful Cyber Frog.
Are you buying the figures? That's what I was going to ask you. They look pretty cool, by the way.
Well, actually, interesting. The figures were supposed to be in co-promotion with Dynamite. Dynamite has canceled their partnership with a fellow creator of his named Cecil.
Damn.
Because Cecil is Comicsgate, and so the Twitter folk are not happy that someone of Comicsgate has a deal with Dynamite for a variant cover of Vampirella #1 because you just can't have too many Vampirella #1s, and so I saw that Ethan has went on live stream and said he's no longer doing anything with Dynamite, and he is ending his partnership with to make those figures. So yeah, Dynamite has
That's a
canceled.
bummer.
Dynamite has canceled Cecil, who let me just double check. I thought he actually got 150,000. Made $150,000 that um, on that what you call it on his.
I mean, that's a shame, not like, because I think Ethan would have done an awesome job, but
Now he's
I
gonna do it on
mean,
his own now, but I think he's basically said, hey, look, they took it down. Yeah, they took it
you
down.
know what? He's got to do what's right for his his intellectual property. I don't blame him. He's got to do what's right for the intellectual property.
Yeah, so
So,
Dynamite, I heard it was doing well. I just don't know the amount it was at, and yeah. So the basically the backstory is Dynamite. How they did one with that Star Wars girl. They did one with Cecil, and it actually was kind of a funny one. It's big old Cecil with Vampirella on one side and Red Sonja on the other, and yeah, they were not happy about it. So they canceled him. They canceled the partnership. Canceled all the money they made. And yeah, so Dynamite has bent the knee. So Ethan has said he doesn't. He's ending his partnership with Dynamite. I guess it's interesting, Lumpia. I guess it goes back to the whole thing that if you want to protect your property, you should just do it yourself and not get in bed with these big publishers, huh?
yeah, and I agree, but it's tough. I mean, knowing the comic book artists we know, that we know and follow and love their work, it's not as glamorous as you would think it is until you reach the higher echelons of Todd McFarlane or J. Scott Campbell. And even then, you have a lot of politics in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy ask. And, I highly respect the people, the artists who can get up and do it. That's why there's a forum like Kickstarter for them to be able to do the work that they want to do without the boundaries, right? Um, and it's sad that it's come to that. I mean, Isaac Bell, Metal Shade, I think is what it's called. I've
Yeah.
been looking forward to receiving my hard copy of it, but I read the digital. Like he had an unfortunate fallout with one of the printing presses that they were so excited to have a partnership with, and those people tried to take them for their deposit, but they weren't producing the things on time and they weren't producing it to the quality that they claimed they could. And you know what? You got to do what's right for your intellectual property. And that's what, I like that he was honest enough to tell the people who backed his project that and say, we still want to bring you, something we're proud of that we can sign our name on. And that's the thing that, you know, it matters the most, I think, to the people who are truly the people that are the fans, that are collectors, that care, and that's why I go back to Todd McFarlane because, I was in a store the other day and I was looking at one of the toys and, Sirius and I were just like, these are really nice quality toys. And we looked on the back and it said McFarlane Toys and I didn't even realize it. I can't think of what exactly it was like we were looking at. It wasn't like something you would think McFarlane did, but he did it. And we were just like, wow, these are really good toys. And then we looked on the back and it was McFarlane. That is like where I think everyone wants to get to. And unfortunately, it's not an easy road. So the more they can protect their intellectual property, the more I appreciate it. Because why would you want to put something out that is of a lower quality just for the sake of it?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, did the Twitter shadow ban even mention? Yeah, I just it's tough, man, for those who really want to get into the business, and I have mad respect for those folks, and it's just it's just disappointing because given the comic book industry has been going down the road of appeasing these these folks, they still don't sell. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if at the end of the day, if you want integrity to your brand or your product, you're gonna have to do it on your own, and that's just tough. And hopefully, Kickstarter and Indiegogo doesn't um, impede on folks trying to make it on their own. It's a shame because I've listened to a few live streams of Cecil. I don't I didn't catch the this whole hate group thing. He's just a guy, a character who is somewhat entertaining. Does this whole drunk thing, and he just has this funny way of looking at life. And you know what? I guess people just didn't like the fact that he criticized the big boys Marvel, DC, and the wonderful art and the wonderful stories that they make. And you know what? They're just gonna have to strike it on their own again. And I hope they figure out a way to not get too in bed with Dynamite or be dependent on it, because it was interesting that I found that crowd, the comics mate folks, it felt like they were leaning on them a lot, Dynamite, and I thought Dynamite was probably trying to tap on that
Yeah.
market, the market of the Indiegogo, the fact that Cecil, Anna from that Star Wars girl, Ethan, that they have their own fan base, and they were trying to capitalize it. I said, okay, maybe there's some synergies there, but yeah, they decided to bend the knee. And
Yeah, and just off topic, I mean the last Comic Con we were at, one of the artists we were talking to said that Dynamite, was it Dynamite or the other one? Can't remember. One of them doesn't pay. They don't pay on time. So like
I'm
it's like
not
if the work is
surprised.
done, like
I'm not,
pay the freaking artists. They're starving. They truly are. Like
well,
it's
well, I bet you that they're also not making much in the traditional method. And it's funny that Dynamite's been going heavy on the Indiegogo Kickstarter. They've been doing the whole Red Sonja Frank Cho thing. They've been throwing out on Indiegogo a lot of the Vampirella #1 covers with Lucia Perillo and some Mindy Wheeler, I think, was the one. And I was actually personally shocked that I saw an email that said Cash Grab was in a variant cover. And I'm like, how many variants can you do on Vampirella 1? And they're really just capitalizing on the Indiegogo market. And I think if they were trying to get the money off the Indiegogo market, which was a lot of money, by ditching Cecil the way they did, they lost that crowd. So
yeah.
it's one of those things where they went and agreed with a market that doesn't give them they're not the loyal fan base that gives them a boost. You'll see Dynamite probably suffer some hidden revenue, and well, good luck, because I mean Ethan. They stood by, which I find it weird. They stood by Ethan, and Ethan was the one who had the most arrows slung at him.
Right.
And
no, I mean, like it's. And to go one step further, I mean, I didn't even bring Polito in. This is why he's so successful at what he does. And, he came back from being bankrupt and losing some of the rights to some of his things. He still held on, thank God, to Lady Death. Like, he does it right. And you know what? He brings in the artist. And he's got another Kickstarter coming up.
yeah,
And
you
he's
know
going to
what?
bring him
It's
back.
gonna do way better than a Marvel or a DC. In my opinion, unless if you count ships, issue ships, sure. But if you don't, I mean, like I said, Kamala Khan is the greatest character in the Marvel universe. So they'll do well. Which, by the way, on a tangent, I love how they keep marketing that you play as the Avengers, but they don't tell you the truth that your main character is Kamala Khan.
It's kind of funny because I haven't seen marketing for the Avengers game since they announced it.
I've seen there was a live stream, and I didn't watch it, but I wasn't interested because it was just the whole, why are you making the main character the one character that no one's excited? Okay, let me rephrase that. A character that not many people are excited to play. I'm sorry. I've yet to see this big demand for Kamala Khan the way that everyone on Twitter has been saying. I just don't, and I'm curious to see how the Disney Plus show will be. I'm sure they're going to sink money and make that a loss leader, but right now Disney does not have the opportunity given that their parks are closed and their movies are shut down. But I digress.
Yes.
Um,
Speaking of, yes, I agree with you. The movies are shut down. The filming was postponed. A lot of things are now postponed. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel comes off the plate because they're gonna have to prioritize.
yeah,
But that's another story for another day.
well, you know what? Hollywood tends to do what Hollywood does, and so I will. I think we'll close the show. Um, Wrapping it up, we expect to see on Thursday whether it's a live stream or a an after show reaction from us Thursday from the Xbox, and on Dynamite. It was kind of funny because I was thinking about that Frank Cho on Indiegogo because I missed it on Kickstarter. I'm gonna pass on that. I think I'm gonna pass on the Dynamite thing. I think it's disappointing that they got a lot of good funding and revenue and demand from Indiegogo, and they chose to bend to a crowd that says a man is racist. And I listen to his shows. I mean, I haven't really heard anything that was offensive other than I guess bad jokes. But that's my opinion. So I'll leave it at that. So thank you for listening to the show. Please like, comment, or subscribe. Ring the bell if you want to be notified of content. We will try to ramp up back to the normal schedule, given that summer's been pretty tough with schedules. But hope to see you soon, and we'll talk to you later.
See ya.